Hello and welcome back to the Double A Podcast. I'm your host, Aiden Hammond.
And I'm Aditya.
And today we have the big trade deadline podcast. But before we get to the big moves, we got to talk about just some regular NBA news.
Yes.
So, first of all, the Knicks did another Knicks-like thing and just fired Steve Mills in the middle of the season.
What I will say is that he has not been good. So it's not like a typical Knicks thing where they screw over their franchise, but it's a typical Knicks thing where they try to clean up their mess of screwing up their franchise.
And the other thing is, firing Steve Mills isn't going to do anything as long as James Dolan is still there.
Yeah, but
So what's really
here's the thing:
what's the goal here?
It doesn't matter. Dolan's not going to sell the team. He's clearly stated he's not going to sell the team. So at this point, the only hope that Knicks fans have is this type of stuff.
Yeah. So we also up next have the Raptors. Oh, that was loud. Also, we're recording at my house, so the audio is a little different.
We'll try to fix it.
Yeah, we'll turn it down a little bit in post, but it's just going to be a little different. And also, if you hear some like heavy breathing, that's just my dogs.
Yeah.
Because they're pugs, and they're in the recording area. That's also their area, kind of. So. Oh, like that.
You guys picked that up.
Yeah. So we got the Raptors win streak.
What's it? 13 straight?
It's 13 straight now after last night.
They're insane.
They're playing like a championship team right now.
They're playing like the Raptors with Kawhi Leonard, but without Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, and they've kind of got some like younger guys that are sort of leading the way too. Like Chris Boucher, is that his name?
He's been solid.
He's been really good.
Pascal's
He was
doing his thing.
kind of pissed that he wasn't selected to the Rising Stars game, which I kind of get, but I also don't really get when players are like mad about that because like.
It's the Rising Stars.
It's the Rising Stars game. It gets like routinely like a little over 1 million people watch it. Like it's not a huge deal, but it's important to some guys. So
I can also understand why he'd be angry that Zion, who played like 3 games.
Yeah, that was bullshit. Yeah, but he's been playing really well. This Raptors young core. I mean, shouts to Masai Ujiri. Like this team. Realistically, 90% of the time when you lose your like finals MVP player, you're not the 2 seed the very next year.
Especially after not making the finals ever. And then he comes, you win a championship, and then he leaves.
And then he leaves. But Pascal Siakam's the real deal.
Freddie has been.
Fred VanVleet is a hooper. That was probably.
Kyle Lowry's also like. When they gave him that, like, what was it, 1 year, $32 million or whatever in the offseason, and people were like, why are they paying that much for Kyle Lowry? And it's like, this.
He's proven it because he's six straight All-Star appearances.
Yeah.
Most. I didn't realize that was the most, which I guess it might make sense that it's the most ever by a Raptors player, 6.
Yeah.
Real quick, I'm gonna move a bag so I can scoot back a little bit so that maybe my audio isn't so loud.
And he has like the Raptors all-time assist record now.
Yeah.
Which is dope.
And then another mini segment with this is 2 of those wins have come against the Pacers, who just got Victor Oladipo back. The Pacers are not doing so hot.
No.
But what a lot of Pacers fans are failing to mention on Twitter, I gotta say, I really hate the Fire Nate McMillan crowd because Nate McMillan has done nothing but like overachieve in his entire career as the Pacers coach. Like, realistically, the year after they traded Paul George, they should have been a lottery team. Yeah. And instead, Victor Oladipo was an all-star.
Yeah. I have the coronavirus, so.
Yeah. It's maybe not a good joke.
That's a great joke.
But, so, he's done nothing but overachieve his entire career as the Pacers coach. This is his, 3rd or 4th year? He made that roster with like Thad McMillan, Thad Young, Victor Oladipo, Domantas Sabonis, Bojan Bogdanovic. The year after Paul George left, that team was a 5 seed.
You also got to give credit to Vic for that off-season grind he put in.
Yep. And then that last year, Vic goes down. They still managed to stay in the 5 seed. Like he's just I don't get it. Pacers fans are not.
One thing I have seen a lot that I do agree with, though, is that Vic needs to take less shots until he can get a stride back. Because he's taking, 12, 13 shots a game and making 3.
Yeah, that's a problem. But last night, he had a good game.
Yeah. Good to see.
The thing is, and TJ Warren has also been hurt, which is like the Pacers are on a 4-game skid right now. They play New Orleans tonight, I think.
Mm-hmm. Did you see?
That's a game they
should. Turner did an interview with King of the Fourth Quarter where he said he's a better 3-point shooter than like Brooke Lopez and Joel Embiid and Laurie Markkinen and stuff like that.
That's not a crazy thing to say. Like
I haven't seen the full thing
people
yet.
are gonna say that's crazy, but I don't think
Brooke
that's
Lopez
horrible.
Splash Mountain?
Yeah, but Miles Turner does have a clip sometimes. Like when he gets hot.
Yeah, sometimes. Brooke Lopez has a clip all the time.
Yeah.
Well, not this season. He's been shooting like 28% from three.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He's
But
been
last
bad.
season,
Last season was special for Splash Mountain. Lila's just snuggled up against your leg,
I
dude.
know.
She loves you. But yeah, this Pacers 4-game skid, not great. It's definitely not going to be great for playoffs, but 76ers have also been horrible.
We also have time until the playoffs.
Yeah, like Pacer fans are panicking right now on Twitter.
Well, we always have. It's not the first time where we've gone on like a 3 or 4 game losing streak we shouldn't have, and then everyone's like, "Fire Nate McMillan, he's bad."
But he's really not.
He's
bad.
not bad. I didn't know he had like 25 assists in one game.
Yeah, he's like second all time on the like. I think he has more assists than points for his career too.
I didn't know that.
But yeah, he's got like 6. It's like pretty close, but it's like 6,100 assists and like 6,050 points or something.
Yeah.
So this, I'm not super worried. I mean, I usually overreact before the season starts. Before the season starts, I'll react to the roster and that sort of thing. But I'm not gonna. But during the season, if we're on a big skid like this, especially with the circumstances, like trying to get our all-star shooting guard reintegrated into the lineup.
Plus, we have most all of our players locked up for at least 1 or 2 more years.
Yeah.
So, this season, if it doesn't,
at least the main core.
Yeah.
Like Sabonis, Oladipo, Brogdon, which are really I'd say the 3 we need the most in the future.
And the Pacers have been working with Oladipo on a contract extension.
Yeah.
Nothing's come yet, but
yeah,
fingers crossed.
Jeremy Lamb, another solid guy. Pacers. This isn't the Pacers podcast, but
we are Pacers fans.
Yeah, we are Pacers fans. Justin Holiday has got to be a target to resign. He's shooting I think he shot 47% from 3 or something for the month of January. He was crazy. He's one of the most underrated 3-and-D guys in the league. He's really good. I guess what I'm saying is don't panic because T.J. Warren's had a concussion. He's been out for most of this losing streak. Victor Oladipo has, obviously not been good, but he's also.
Even if he doesn't.
He also hasn't played in a year. So.
Even if I think this might be a Gordon Hayward situation where he can't pick it up this season, but give him the off season to get with the team and he can play well.
Yeah. Up next. Oh, I just yawned.
Up next are the 76ers soft. So I think
they are. They're
I think it was
soft.
Charles Barkley that called them
Shaq
that called them the softest team in the league.
Charles Barkley called them the Cleveland Browns of the NBA. He said you got all this talent and you just can't do shit with it, which is a little harsh because the Browns won 6 or 7 games this year and missed the playoffs, and the 76ers are probably going to be a 5 or 6 seed.
Yeah, but I can't see. I mean, this team should be so much better.
This team should be realistically competing with the Bucks for the 1 seed.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have a Giannis, but they got that star power. They have realistically 4 all-star caliber players.
Whenever I watch a Joel Embiid, I get mad.
Well, because you have him on your fantasy team.
Yeah, but I mean, not even that, because when I'm watching the games, I'm not super conscious about my fantasy team unless it's Trae Young and Bradley Beal, who are my 2 best players.
Yeah.
But just watching, because I was watching the Bucks Sixers game, he just doesn't. He is so out of shape. I don't know if it's the broken hand or what's going on.
It's alarming. It's people say that about Jokic, but Jokic's play style almost lends itself to being fat.
Yeah, and
it helps him somehow.
And when he takes his really awkward mid-range jumpers, he hits. Joel Embiid doesn't make his shots because of his hand.
Yeah.
And I understand that, but then stay in shape and play in the post. Don't.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is Charles ran this clip when he said he called Embiid soft, and he ran this clip, and it was Embiid he bit on a post fake, and then he just got burned. Yeah. It was it was almost like a dream shake, I think, kind of the guy he was defending. Did you see that clip?
No.
The guy he was defending kind of shot faked and then rolled into the post and put it up, and Embiid just could not compete. He just couldn't stay with him.
Yeah, and another problem I have with Joel Embiid, he'll have if you call him for example, Chuck and Shaq calls him soft, I guarantee you he's gonna come out and have like 1 or 2 games where he drops like 35 and 15, and then he's gonna go back to putting up his 18 and 10 on 3 of 18 from the field. Like it's not because if you call him out, he'll try to prove you wrong. Like he wasn't playing well to come into the season, and then like he got called out, and then he had like a few really like amazing monster games. He's like, yeah, I'm defensive player of the year now, and
Yeah.
then he went back to being ass.
Yeah,
it's not
he's
even-
just, and his numbers are good because that
But
stuff
he's-
averages out. Like he'll have like 5 really good games in a row, and then a bad skid of like 3, and then 5 really good games. Like he is really good.
Mhm.
Like I know that we shit talk Joel Embiid kind of a lot on this podcast. I've noticed, and
Yeah,
I think it's because neither of us like really like him.
it's because I mean I like. Here's the thing.
Or is it Ryan that doesn't really like him?
Ryan loves Joel Embiid.
Okay, so it's you that doesn't really like him.
Here's the thing with Joel Embiid, and this
Shout
is-
out Ryan.
This kind of goes with every NBA player. Shit talk all you want, be trash talk, do whatever you want, get into your opponent's head, but then you gotta back it up on the court. You can't say that.
Well, the
and
thing
then
that I
have a
didn't
terrible
like
play.
about Embiid is he was shit talking when he was like rehabbing his foot injury in the first 2 years. Like he was shit talking on Twitter before he'd even played a game. So
Like, for example, I like when he does all that trash talk and then he goes out and owns Andre Drummond, or when he trash talks, then him and Giannis each have like
But
a
the
45
thing
and
is,
20
like,
duel.
Andre Drummond like kind of outdueled him when they played this year. Like
This
early
year,
in
I'm
the
talking about last year.
no, yeah, when he was like all those bricks, you're building a house for me to live in your head, and I was like,
Yeah.
that's such a good one, dude. But I don't know, it was just like I don't know, it's just like he talks too much shit for a guy who hasn't won an MVP and hasn't won a championship
And
and
can't
hasn't
stay
gotten
healthy.
past the second round and eats too many fucking Chick-fil-A burgers to get out of
Yeah.
there.
And as much I hate Ben Simmons, I do not like.
Yeah,
him.
I think he's a cocky jackass.
But as much as I hate Ben Simmons, he has been the Sixers' best player. He's been playing out of his mind.
it's not
and
hard to
he's-
be better than Embiid though right now.
But what I'm saying, because what I mean is when you have like their starting lineup, he's basically put them on his back.
Yeah.
He's been like you can tell he's been working hard. Maybe his jumper's not there, but with every other facet of the game, he's there.
I'm gonna look at his averages because I think a couple weeks ago when I did that big Ben Simmons rant, it was like what, like 16, 7, and 4 or something.
Yeah, some like okay.
Yeah.
But in this past few weeks, he's been like playing really well.
I still don't think he should have made the All-Star game over Brad. Well, I don't know because he's been on a better team, so
yeah,
that's kind of hard.
I would still give it to Bradley Beal, but
yeah.
especially because I would take the entire season over a few weeks
Yeah.
of playing really well, but that's a topic for
Yeah.
later.
We talked about this last week.
Yeah,
Oh, I accidentally just looked up Bradley Beal instead of Ben Simmons.
but
Ben Simmons.
and Tobias Harris is so inconsistent. He'll
Yeah,
put up
that-
6 and 3, and then 32 and 8, and
So
then,
Ben Simmons is averaging 16.7, 7.8, and 8.3.
yeah.
So like 17,
Well,
8,
your
and 8
averages
if you're
aren't
being
gonna
generous.
your averages aren't gonna bump up
Yeah.
like 10 points after 3
Um,
games, but
I was questioning that. Like, I know that contract kind of went under the radar when he got it over the summer. It was like, I was like, did you guys really just sign a guy who has made 0 All-Star games to a
he made the
5-year?
All-Star game last year.
No, he didn't.
Oh, he didn't?
Because he was in the West for most of the year, remember? Because he was a trade deadline move to the Sixers.
Ben Simmons?
No. I'm talking about Tobias Harris.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was like kind of questioning. I didn't really like. I was like, I don't think Ben Simmons really deserves
The
that
problem
contract
with
when he got
the
it.
Tobias
That's
Harris
fine.
contract, the reason I was talking about it because everyone got overpaid. Chris Middleton got an insane amount of
Yeah,
money.
but Chris Middleton. That's the other thing is that there was an incentive for the Bucks to give him that much money, is because he's
Giannis'
progressively
friend.
gotten better over the years. He's friends with Giannis. He's a piece that they have to lock up to keep Giannis long term.
Yeah.
Um,
You know,
and he's made an All-Star game. But giving Tobias Harris a 5-year max of $180 million, he is not a $180 million player.
no.
If he had gotten $110 million from any team in free agency, I would have been like, that's probably good.
I've been thinking about this. I realized this like 2 or 3 days ago. The Sixers' money is locked up. They're not making any changes for the next 3 or 4 years. This is the team they have,
Yeah.
and if they can't compete, they're screwed. Then it's just back
They-
to square one.
Yeah, they are. They have set themselves up for a win now or rebuild in 3 years,
And they've been
Which is-
rebuilding for enough years.
which is a problem because they haven't won a championship since 1983.
Yeah.
Um,
And their last moment of glory was with Allen Iverson.
Yeesh. Well, didn't they beat the Celtics with Andre Iguodala one time?
The Celtics with Andre Iguodala?
Yeah, didn't they have?
Oh, you mean the Sixers had Andre?
Yeah, the
Okay.
Sixers had
I
Andre
thought you meant
Iguodala,
the
and didn't
Celtics
they
had.
beat like that Celtics team in a playoff series or something?
I don't know. Their
Yeah.
team's been ass.
I'm slightly distracted because I'm looking at people's Snapchat stories, and I really because a couple people I know are at the IU game right now, and Bob Knight is in the building. And if you're an IU fan, which I'm not because they make me sad all the time, but I'm like a reluctant IU watcher.
I'm a Rice Owls fan, so
Yeah, he's a big Rice guy.
Yeah.
But you know how big of a deal it is that Bob Knight's back in the building, or even if you're like just a passive college basketball
Do you think he
watcher.
brought his own chair this time, or is he gonna get one?
Yeah.
But all right. So
Okay,
talk
up
to me
next.
about this.
Normally we wouldn't talk about this, but this was super cool, and it was a pretty slow week besides the trade deadline. Denver won an NBA basketball game with 7 active players.
That was so cool.
Who was it? Who were they?
So here I'll pull up the game. It was, I know Jokic and Jamal Murray were the two because
So they're two best players,
because
both.
they like popped off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, let me pull up the game, but you can continue to talk about how crazy this is. while I
This
pull it
is
up.
this shouldn't happen. And they also beat the Jazz, who are a good basketball team. Like,
Yep.
aren't they like the 4 seed right now in the West?
They're 32-18. Yeah.
Yeah, they're a very good
I
basketball.
got it pulled up. So Torrey Craig, who put up 8 points, 12 rebounds. Jokic, who put up 30, 21, and 10.
Jesus, 10 assists or 10 rebounds?
10 assists, 21 rebounds, 30 points.
Good lord.
Yeah, Monte Morris, who put up 15, 3, and 2. Jamal Murray, who put up 31, 4, and 2. And Gary Harris, who put up 5, 8, and 5, shooting 0 of 13 from the field.
Crazy. That's insane.
And then this dude, who, like, I think this was his first NBA game. He played, well, maybe not his first, but Vlatko Cancer. Yeah. He put up 4 points, 4 rebounds in 17 minutes, and PJ Dozier put up 5 and 3 in 25 minutes. So it was a 3-man show. And then Gary Harris, because their whole team was shooting really well, like at least their starting 5.
Yeah.
And then the 0 of 13.
That's just, I mean, that's insane.
And then on the Jazz,
that shouldn't happen.
Yeah, the Jazz Boyan dropped 16, 5, and 5.
We don't need to hear all of the individual stats for
Okay.
everybody.
Their best player was Mike Conley, put up 21 and 8.
Damn, that's actually not great.
Yeah. But it was like everyone had, not everyone, but they had 5 players with double digits.
And then our final thing before we get to the trade deadline and the buyout market. Last night, very controversial no call.
It wasn't controversial at all. Everyone knows that it was trash.
Well, it's not controversial, but it's like, yeah, I guess I was wrong, right? Anyway, so this is the thing.
So
just
for people that don't know what we're talking about, Friday night, the Jazz were up 2 points on the Blazers. Damian Lillard goes in for a drive. Rudy Gobert with a very clear goaltend. Everyone knew it was a goaltend. The fans knew it was a goaltend. Rudy Gobert knew it was a goaltend. Obviously, he's not going to say anything.
Yeah.
But he knew it, and the refs didn't call it. They, in fact, said they didn't review it because it was very obviously not a goaltend, which it was a goaltend. Dame called out the refs. The Blazers, I think, had a little thing about the refs.
Yeah.
It was
TJ McConnell's been
Woj for the first time.
Adrian Wojnarowski.
Woj tweeted about this, and he was very angry.
Yeah, he was pissed. So this is especially, like, we've talked about this play before, but when LeBron goaltended Vic in Game 5 of the 2018 Eastern Conference.
But the problem with that one is, if you look at it from a different angle, you could see it's maybe.
But the thing that bothers me so much is on no-call goaltends, you can call the goaltend and then you overturn it. Especially if it's a game-deciding play, if it even looks close to a goaltend.
No,
call it as a goaltend.
But here's the thing: the refs at the time said it was because what was it? Their coach. Why am I blanking on his name?
Steve Mills.
No, Steve Mills is not a coach. Idiot.
The
Blazers coach. I'm blanking on his. Why am I blanking on his name right now?
Terry
Stotts. Terry Stotts. Because he was like arguing with the ref, and the ref said, and I quote, "It is very visibly not a goaltend." Well, I don't quote that. That's basically
just objectively stupid.
Yeah, and the stupid thing about that is, since there was no call, they can't challenge it, which means it basically had to just go.
Yeah, I hate that. Do we have to talk about this more? Because it fucking
And
sucks.
the worst thing about it is the refs aren't going to get in trouble for it. It's going to be Dame getting a fine for calling them out. The Blazers getting a fine for acting up about it. The refs are going to be fine.
Holy shit, Bob Knight's back.
Okay.
I'm watching this
We're-
game a little bit live.
we're
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just dumb. But we've done 20 minutes of this podcast and haven't talked about a trade yet, so we should probably get on that.
Yeah, okay, so the trade deadline was this week. It ended Thursday at 3 o'clock.
I will.
I always love the trade deadline. The trade deadline is why I have Wojnarowski notifications turned on. So we're going to go in chronological order.
Yes. So the first one here is the 4-team trade agreement. Houston receives Robert Covington, Jordan Bell, a second-round pick. Hawks receive Clint Capella and Nene. The Wolves receive Malik Beasley, Juan Hernan-Gomez, Evan Turner, and an Atlanta first. And the Nuggets receive Gerald Green, a Houston first, and Keita Bates-Diop.
Yeah.
So Houston's running their super small ball lineup.
It actually worked really well the first time.
Yeah, against the Lakers.
Yeah.
And then
PJ Tucker held Anthony Davis to like 3 of 10 shooting or something
Yeah,
crazy.
But it's not. I don't see it being very sustainable, just because that requires a lot of energy, and PJ Tucker's 35 years old.
Yeah.
So it's like it might work for a little bit, but he's gonna get drained out. And in the playoffs, in a 7-game series, when there's a game plan against it, it's gonna be tough. But
Yeah.
Hawks got Clint Capella.
Hawks got Clint Capella. So the Hawks are building for the future, obviously. Like I think everybody knew going into this year that Trae Young was going to be electric and nothing else was going to happen.
Yep.
Like he was going to be
Which
very
makes me
good, and the
angry
Hawks were going to be very bad.
Because some stupid media guys were like, the Hawks are going to push for the playoffs, and everyone was like, no,
Obviously, everybody
they're
knew
not.
that, and maybe John Collins being out for 25 games hurt that.
But they weren't going to make it anyway.
No, they weren't, but like maybe John Collins, maybe they would have been out. Like they were out of the playoff race realistically at like the end of November.
Yeah.
But with John Collins in that lineup, maybe they're in it for a little longer. Like maybe they're at least challenging teams. But no, they just get their ass kicked all the time. But Clint Capella. So basically, what I saw this as, like, I kind of thought that if he got traded, it would maybe be to Atlanta, or Atlanta would try to trade for a guy who was just a really good rebounder. But just to like rebound Trae's misses, which he doesn't really have. Like,
well, it depends on the game. Some games will
Yeah.
go like 8 of
Yeah.
25.
yeah,
But John Collins can get rebounds. They need someone that's good defense, like Dwayne Dedman, who's like actually traded.
yeah, they actually got.
But, like Clint Capella, you're paying so much money for a guy that can do what John Collins does slightly better.
That's a little like
He's there to rebound.
he's a really good rebounder though.
Yeah,
And he's
so
like
is John Collins.
decent scorer, decent defender. Like he was
John Collins can't play defense. So
yeah,
but
but he was like
what's he paid? What's he getting paid? Like
he's getting paid crazy.
He's
money.
like getting paid over $100 million, I think.
But the
Or
thing
maybe
is,
exactly
he
100.
was James Harden's pick and roll partner for.
That's what John Collins is supposed to be.
Yeah,
That's my whole problem with this is you have John Collins who's still not growing physically, but as a player he's getting better. He's only in his 3rd year, and then you go and get Clint Capella who's doing just a little bit of a better job at the same things, and then it brings like one new aspect to the game that you got for Dwayne Dedman.
yeah,
And it's just like, but I've also, if you've watched this podcast, you know that I was super against them trying to go for like Andre Drummond and stuff. I didn't
Yeah.
think they should try to get a big sort of center move.
yeah.
Because,
But
especially because
honestly, I would have been fine with them getting him because
Well, here's my problem with their first round. Do they have their first round pick this year, or did they trade it? I think they might have traded it to the Wolves in this deal. I don't know which first was moved.
that's insane if they did.
Yeah, well, I don't know which one was moved. It doesn't
Yeah,
give detail on this post, but if they like have their first round pick for this year, there's a chance you get James Wiseman anyway. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So like I can see where they're going with it, like where they're
Yeah.
going with it, but I also don't understand why they would
Yeah.
do that.
Um,
As for the Nuggets, or not, yeah, the Nuggets they get Gerald Green, so just a little bit more bench depth.
did they get Gerald Green?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
and Keita Bates-Diop, who's
So more bench depth.
Yeah. And then the Wolves got Malik Beasley, Hernan Gomez, Evan Turner, and an Atlanta first. No one understood why the Wolves were part of this at all.
Because Robert. Wait, what'd they get?
They got Malik Beasley, Juan Hernan Gomez, Evan Turner, and Atlanta first. So
And it doesn't specify the year on it.
not on this post
Okay.
that I'm looking at. Woj might have it, but
Okay, let me look at Woj.
I'll
'cause
move on.
I don't think they'd be insane to trade away their
Yeah.
first round pick. I mean, unless it's like top 4 protected or something.
And then another smaller move that Minnesota did was trading Shabazz Napier to the Nuggets for Jared Vanderbilt. So that one was a little smaller, but it was there.
Oh, it's Atlanta's first round pick via the Nets.
Oh, okay. So it's not. That's better.
Yeah.
But
I still don't
it's
like. That's what you get for Robert Covington, the best 3-and-D guy in the league. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's. I guess the Timberwolves kind of maybe redeemed themselves with a D'Lo trade, but we'll get to that
Yeah,
later.
because they got 7 new players at the trade
Yeah.
deadline. Oh, and Noah Vonleh to the Nuggets was also in that
Okay.
trade.
Next up is the Iguodala trade, and he signed his extension right after.
Yeah, so this is kind of a big deal because on I think it was on Monday or Tuesday, it kind of came out that he was being a little bit of a baby back bitch, and
Yeah.
like I don't really like when players just sit out. Like that's one of the things that I don't like about the CBA is like if you're not on a good team, then you can just kind of sit out. But that's kind of another thing. I didn't like that, and especially because he's 36 years old. Like he's supposed to be at least a leader. Like,
Yeah. So what I got from this was Iggy, Jay Crowder, and Solomon Hill to Miami for Justice Winslow, James Johnson, and Dion Waiters. I think no picks were in the deal, so that was the full trade.
So
it was a salary dump of James Johnson and Dion Waiters. They got Iggy, who they signed to a 2-year, $30 million team option on the second year,
which is a really good. I mean, I think that that's stupid to sign a 36-year-old that isn't named LeBron James to a 2-year deal for $10+ million a year.
Well, Iggy brings something that the Heat really want, which is just tough defense, grit, all that stuff. And the Grizzlies got Justice Winslow, who, if he stays healthy, has the potential to be a solid player.
Yeah.
The problem is he can't stay healthy.
I still think that dude maybe has all-star potential, at least like in his game. You can kind of see that he's just like really good if he stays healthy.
Well, he was healthy in the beginning of the season. He was like solid.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say all-star, but he was a solid player.
Yeah.
And then in the past, since December 4th, he's played like 2 games.
Yeah.
So.
But really, if you go down to just like trim the fat off this trade, you basically trade away a guy who's going to leave in free agency anyway, and Andre Iguodala, and you got back a young guy with a lot of potential if he stays healthy in Justice Winslow to pair with your already young core of Trey J and Ja Morant and Dylan Brooks.
Who's
got been popping off and got his extension. Shout out Oregon, our Oregon boy, Ryan. And the Oregon boys in the league, Dylan Brooks, and nobody else.
Jordan Bell, he's from
Jordan Bell, yeah, that's true. So we're both becoming Memphis fans more and more.
Yeah.
As the season goes on, I keep this stupid little ranking in my notes, just like of the teams I like, and the Pacers are number 1, and the Spurs are number 2 usually, and then but like. Memphis has like moved into like my 4th favorite team because I really love what they're doing. They're a small market. They draft really well. They're like I loved the grit and grind Grizzlies. Like that's one of my favorite like team makeups ever. Just with Zach Randolph and Mike Conley and Marc Gasol and Tony Allen. I still want to get a Tony Allen Memphis jersey. That's like on the top of my list of jerseys that I want. So I just love this Memphis rebuild because it's so sick.
I don't think they're still in my top 5 yet, but I do like them.
Yeah. It's just a cool situation because it's like just seeing like they basically flip. I saw a crazy thing and it was like they basically flipped Mike Conley for like a bunch of picks.
Yeah.
This guy, because like all the like most
and Marc Gasol.
Yeah, most of the assets that they traded, they got something like most of the assets that they got in that Mike Conley trade. They traded away in the Iguodala trade, so it's just like
I think it also
they're one of the youngest teams in the league too.
Wasn't Dylan Brooks a 2nd round pick?
Did they pick him this year? Is he a
No.
rookie?
He's not.
Okay.
I don't think because he just signed his
Oh
extension.
yeah, that's right. Duh. But
But
they got these guys.
Yeah.
They got these young guys. They're fun to watch. John Morant's fucking awesome. He's so cool, so freaking sick. Good young team. Fun
Yeah.
to watch. Hey Charlie,
Young
can you
teams are-
consider stop licking your paw, please? Thank you.
young teams are always exciting. I
Yeah.
like watching Trae Young. I'm not going to say the Hawks, but I do like watching Trae Young. He's cool.
Yeah,
I
and
like watching Zach LaVine, except Jim Boylan kind of ruined it for me.
yeah,
Um,
watching John Morant is like watching Trae Young if the Hawks were good, and if
Yeah.
Trae Young
and
was
Trae
a
Young was
little
more athletic
less.
and less of a shooter.
It's really like not watching Trae
Well, the
Young. It's
thing
just
is-
watching a young explosive
The thing
guy.
I like about Trae Young is I also shoot a lot of threes.
Yeah.
So it's entertaining for me.
Yeah.
Next-
What is the next trade?
Well, we can talk about the Warriors sent Glenn Robinson III and Alec Burks to Minnesota for 2 seconds. It just helps Minnesota's shooting problem.
Well, and that also kind of helps. The thing with the Warriors is that they're playing chess right now, and you can kind of tell by some of their other trade deadline moves, which we'll get to, but they are really looking to prolong the dynasty, which
which is smart.
people are saying the
When you
dynasty's
have-
over. The dynasty's not over if you have a bad year.
When
Like
you're-
it's just not.
When you have, in my opinion, the second greatest point guard of all time on your team, you try to prolong it as much as you can. And two of the best shooters of all time.
Well, when you have a core with 2 of the 5 best shooters ever,
Yeah.
Draymond Green, who's a perennial all-star power forward, who's a
I
triple-double
wouldn't say
machine
this
and a
year.
great defender.
No, he's like a triple single machine this year.
He's been bad this year, but
And last year he wasn't super great.
he's really good now.
He can be. We got to get him in the
Let's
vote.
stop with the Draymond Green slander. He's a very good
If we're
basketball
talking
player.
about the past 2 years, he hasn't been that. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, sure. The last 2 years he hasn't been very good. But when you have 3 all-stars, which they do, Draymond Green is an all-star, in case you guys forgot.
Was an all-star.
Shut up. Oh my god. Draymond Green, good basketball player. They've got this core that's a championship core.
Yeah, they've already won together, and
They
got
already won it.
73 wins.
Yeah.
But they had, I guess,
And then they
had,
got-
had some roster.
And then they got
changes,
that one guy, and then they won 2 more chips.
but- Yeah.
The only thing is, with that Andre Iguodala extension, which we forgot to mention, basically the plan was like the whole media, way of thinking is that Andre Iguodala is gonna basically take this year to rest, finish out his contract, and then he was gonna re-sign with the Warriors next year to continue the dynasty,
Which didn't happen.
which didn't happen.
It still could because of the team option on the second.
Yeah,
one, but-
it won't happen next year though.
No.
So he's not going to be there. But what's the next trade we got? So
Yes.
basically, just the Warriors are playing chess. They're stocking up picks. They're tanking this year. They managed to escape the trade deadline by not trading away their first round pick this year, which obviously they weren't going to do because they're a competent organization.
Yeah.
Um,
Next trade, Golden State has agreed to send D'Angelo Russell to
Ooh.
Minnesota for a deal that includes Andrew Wiggins, a 2020 protected first-round pick, and a 2022 second-round pick. And the Warriors will send D'Angelo Russell,
Yes.
Amari Spellman, and Jacob Evans.
if you can tell, that's my favorite move that's been made in the last couple of years. Just period. I love that trade.
Why is that? The first?
Actually, that's a drastic overreaction. That's a move that my favorite team has not made. That's one of my favorite moves. Because obviously the Victor Oladipo Domantas Sabonis trade is my favorite because we got
In hindsight, it's
yeah
our favorite.
because we
At the
traded
time-
one All-Star and we got 2.
At the time, I was not happy.
Yeah.
But yeah, Timberwolves next year could be somewhat decent.
Oh, dude. Okay. The thought of pairing up D'Angelo Russell with Karl Anthony Towns makes me just giddy. I love that. I
Mhm.
love that so much because they're buddies already. They're like we already know that they're best friends. And even like the fact that they could maybe lure Devin Booker to Minnesota. Holy shit, dude,
Yeah.
that's so sick.
Yeah, the crazy thing, so I know 2K is not realistic, but I did do a Minnesota thing where I got Devin Booker for like Jarrett Culver and like 3 first-round picks or
Yeah.
2 first-round, something around there. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Or not Jarrett, sorry, not Jarrett Culver. I did Josh Okogie.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
What the fuck? That would not work in real life.
Well, I wanted to keep Jarrett Culver.
Yeah, but so When is Devin Booker's contract up? Does he still have 2
he signed
years?
his extension, so yeah, he's locked up.
Um, unless of course he just tells them to trade him, which at this point, like I usually don't like when players try to force a trade, but just because of my own personal like opinion of being a fan of a small market team, that just can put teams in bad positions. But if at this point, if he did that, the Suns just suck routinely. They're so bad.
Yeah, Kelly Oubre's been playing well and looking great.
They got some good young pieces, but they still cannot win basketball games to save their life.
Yeah.
And then I actually really like this trade for the Warriors because I think, even though I tried to defend that move, the Warriors, I think it was kind of that was gonna be a struggle having D'Angelo Russell, Klay Thompson.
Even I think it was
and
Steve
Steph
Kerr
Curry
that
on
said
the
that.
He
He
said
just
we
doesn't
knew
fit,
that when we signed him that was not going to be a good fit. And
it's probably not going to be, even if they we obviously haven't seen it much, but it wouldn't have been. I think everyone kind of knows that.
So Andrew Wiggins basically gives them another excellent scorer, which he is. He's a good scorer.
Good score.
He's had a very good year this year.
Excellent, because he's still kind of inefficient with it.
Yeah, that's true. But he's had a very good year.
Yeah, he's had a good year.
But he's trying clearly.
So I usually don't watch too much of like ESPN and like First Take and stuff like. I watch it like every now and then if there's something big.
Yeah.
But I saw this one thing on The Jump with Brian Windhorst and Paul Pierce, and they're talking about the trade because like they were doing a thing when it happened live. They were talking about it, and it was like what the Warriors really need is somebody that can shoot the three well, and is somebody that can just shoot the three ball well, and then and be willing to like take the third option role. And then I can't remember exactly what the quote was, but they're like, so the Warriors' ideal fit at small forward is somebody that can just knock down the three well, which is something Andrew Wiggins has never been able to do in his entire career. And it was like, well, damn.
But I think that Andrew Wiggins is a better fit than D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah.
And just hear me out on this one, because I guess you agree. But like the viewers, that might sound insane, but hear me out on this.
Did you say viewers?
Viewers. The viewers and listeners. Hear me out on this. Okay, Andrew Wiggins, for his career, has pretty clearly had a problem with motivation.
Yep.
Which is something that Draymond Green especially will not put up with. Steph Curry won't put up with.
See, here's the thing. We say
Steve
that
Kerr won't put up with.
He had Jimmy Butler and still didn't manage to get fixed up.
But the thing is, he also had guys like Karl-Anthony Towns that were a little bit on his side, I think, with that.
Yeah.
And with the Warriors, I think the entire culture of the Warriors is like, win now, win fast, win well. You know what I mean? It's just, it's about winning.
Plus,
and with the Timberwolves, it's a toxic culture. I'm not going to say that Jimmy Butler was right, because I do kind of think he handled that situation like a child. But
he did. I don't like the way he handled it. Wasn't my favorite.
Waving the towel and shit, that was stupid.
But I'm going to say he was right. Not in the way, not in the way he got out, but just in the term of
that culture, that Minnesota Timberwolves culture is toxic, and I think that Karl-Anthony Towns is trying to fix it, finally. I think D'Angelo Russell's going to help fix it. And they have a very, not a very good, but Ryan Saunders seems like to be a good, he's also like 33, so he has time to learn. He's also like
really good friends with a lot of the players. So.
Yeah, and his dad, Flip Saunders, is legendary. Like, he's a very good, one of the best coaches ever to not win a championship, I guess. Which is a list that you don't want to be on. But if you are on it, then it's still okay. But this trade. So we've talked about the Warriors. They've got a guy like Andrew Wiggins, who I think at this point in his career is willing to take a third option role. I think that Steve Kerr is also a good enough coach that he can like maybe get it into his brain. Like, dude, we have two of the 4 or 5 greatest shooters ever on the court. You're not going to get 18 shots a game. It's just, that's not how it's going to work. You're not Kevin Durant.
The top 3. The only person I'd have is maybe Ray Allen over Klay Thompson, maybe.
I wouldn't put Klay Thompson over Reggie Miller.
Yeah.
Because Reggie
just talking about pure shooting, though, I'd take Klay Thompson.
I don't know. Because let's not talk about this, but Reggie Miller, like, led a team as a 3-point shooter, basically. Yeah. Like, a very good 3-point shooter. Klay Thompson just didn't do that yet. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about. So we talked about the Warriors.
Hold on. One thing I do want to add is if any team can get Andrew Wiggins to shoot threes and score somewhat efficiently, it's the Warriors.
Yeah, that's the other thing is that, and the money basically matches. I think Andrew Wiggins' remaining contract is like 3 years, 95, and D'Angelo's remaining is like 3 years, 90. So it's like $5 million more. But the Warriors
they're
don't care
willing
about
to
that.
go over the
They
max.
signed Klay Thompson to a $190 million extension. They got Steph Curry for a $200 million
And
extension
then
on the
Kevin
books.
Durant for
Yeah.
consistent like 2-year maxes.
Yeah, and then they'll probably end up signing Draymond Green to an absurd contract eventually, just because
Just to
Tobias
keep
Harris got one. Draymond Green will probably get one, even if he maybe doesn't quite deserve it.
All right, we're moving on. So
Wait, hold on.
Oh, one more thing.
We need to talk about D'Angelo Russell.
Okay.
D'Angelo Russell has had 4 teams in 5 years. He's an all-star. He's playing with his best friend, Karl Anthony Towns.
One thing I will
This
say,
is going to be fun.
it might be fun. I don't think you're instantly a playoff contender now that you have D'Angelo Russell with Cat. Because there's still going to be no defense being played.
Yeah, that's true.
And just because you're good friends doesn't mean it'll work well together on the court.
No, I know, but I think that they will, right off the bat, have more chemistry than Cat and Wiggins had. And I also think that D'Angelo Russell fits with Carl's play style more than Wiggins did.
I think it probably will end up working, but I'm saying like it's not a definitive guarantee. This is like an amazing team.
Even though, and they have. I looked at that picture yesterday. I think SportsCenter actually posted it. I'm gonna try to pull it up right over here. But they had 7 new guys.
Yeah, I think it was 9.
Was it 9?
No, I think it might have been 7. Well, no, it wasn't because here I'll go through some of the other trades real quick while we do this. Some like the smaller ones. Houston traded Jordan Bell to Memphis for Bruno Caboclo. And then they each exchanged second-round picks. Portland traded Skal Labissière for $2 million to Atlanta. And then this one here, the Timberwolves traded Gorgie Dang to Memphis for James Johnson. So that was another small move that the Timberwolves made, which I don't understand the point of it.
Wait, what was that?
Gorgie Dang for James Johnson. Maybe to try and toughen up Cat. I don't know.
Maybe like they don't really have. It seems like they don't really have a center who can give Cat very much. Like maybe that's even a move.
Gorgie Dang's like okay. I would take him
but
over
he's not
James
really
Johnson
a center. Like, is he 7 feet tall?
I think he's like 6'9" or something. James Johnson's not 7 feet tall. He's a power forward, so it's like, but yeah, I don't.
But well, I guess what I'm saying is that move is probably one where it's basically maybe just getting a guy who can give Cat a tough one-on-one in practice, even. Like maybe that's it. Like, you know. Oh my!
That was
big snort.
But yeah, next another small one. Wizards trade Jordan McRae to the Nuggets for Shabazz Napier.
I see. I don't even know those guys. I mean, I know Shabazz Napier, but I've never even heard the name Jordan McRae.
Because he's on the Wizards.
That's probably why.
Before we go to this
Thomas trade,
we'll get to that.
Oh yeah.
This one though, this is another big trade. Do you want to pull up your graphic or should we move on?
We're not gonna edit it in. I was just trying to find it. It was like just this crazy picture of like 7 new guys, which I had never seen at a trade deadline before.
I know what you're talking about. But moving on, the Pistons trade Andre Drummond for one future second-round pick, 2023 second-round pick, Brandon Knight and John Henson.
So this is kind of, as a Pacers fan, kind of the laugh at the shitty teams in our conference hour. Because,
in our division?
Because you know, we obviously know that nobody's beating the Bucks in the next
Eastern
5
Conference.
years. Like, the Bucks are likely going to win the division for the next 5 years.
Yeah. But what I'm thinking, you could get, like, while I agree Andre Drummond's value isn't, like, insanely high, he's worth more than John Henson and Brandon Knight. I would think Tristan Thompson in the second-round pick could get you Andre Drummond. Just because he's on the last year of his deal, and he hasn't really won much. But Brandon Knight and
But
John
Tristan
Henson,
Thompson is basically just shorter Andre Drummond. Like, do you really want that if you're the Pistons?
Well, do you want John Henson and Brandon Knight?
I don't know. Like, I guess it's technically better than letting him go for nothing.
I agree they should have traded him. Well, no, I don't even think he wasn't going to leave for nothing. He said he was ready to sign his extension. He said that whole thing about how he felt betrayed that he was traded, and then immediately after he said he was ready to sign his extension with the Cavs. He wasn't going to leave. That's the thing. He's like one of the most loyal guys in the league, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I agree, you're not winning with him, and maybe they wanted to hit the reset button, but get something better than Brandon
I
Knight and
think I
John
saw
Henson.
some. I now this is purely based off of me seeing a comment on SportsCenter, but I think I saw. If anybody would know, it's a Toronto fan because they're just crazy. But I think it said something like Toronto had a better trade package. I don't know why they would have turned it down, and I don't know what the trade package would have been. But I'm
Yeah, I'm not
assuming it
sure.
would have been like even like OG Anunoby in a first
I
round
wouldn't trade
pick.
OG for Andre Drummond. You already have Marc Gasol, and your team's doing well. Don't shake things up.
Well,
Especially
yeah,
don't
but
trade
what
a valuable wing three and D
I'm
guy for a
saying for
center.
from the Pistons
For the
perspective,
yeah, from the Pistons'
like
perspective, you
that's
do
an
it.
excellent value for a guy who's like maybe not going to resign and maybe you don't want to resign.
Yeah,
Um, I don't get this trade for really either team either because this isn't going to make the Cavs like even
no,
contend for the 10th seed.
nope.
Like like there's
One thing I can't understand from the Cavs' perspective is you can get him for nothing. You do it.
they're not going to be good as long as um, they have a college coach as their head coach.
Yeah.
They're not going to be good as long as
But the
their
thing is,
two guards are like I think I saw a crazy stat the other day is they have like the two worst defensive guards in the league.
yeah, because they're two really Colin Sexton. The I saw the clip. I think pretty much everyone's seen it where he's doing that little shake thing instead of like closing out on the shot. He does that thing where he like
Yeah.
I don't even know what he was doing. He's weird.
Oh, like when
The little
John Wall glitched a couple years
yeah,
ago.
yeah, he did that.
Yeah.
The thing I can kind of understand from the Cavs' perspective is if you can get him for nothing, you do it.
Oh yeah, you definitely do it, but I just don't know how this makes their team any closer to even contending for like a barely playoff spot.
I don't think it does.
Like
but
I guess best case scenario, you're maybe an 8 seed next year, and you get like a really good. Maybe you have like a guy who can help Colin Sexton like in the pick and roll game. Like maybe you just set up a really good pick and roll game. Because I know I say this about a lot of players because I see it in a lot of players, but Colin Sexton has the potential to be a very good NBA player, maybe an All Star. And Andre Drummond has probably gotten snubbed from a few All Star games. Like he puts up a lot.
my
of
problem
really
with
good
Andre
numbers.
Drummond is he starts the season off like meh, like still good obviously,
Yeah,
but
and
not
then he
like
goes
amazing.
crazy.
And then he like doesn't make the All Star team, then he
You
feels
just
offended, and then he just pops
you
off.
can't make enough of a difference as a center in today's game, especially the
Unless
way
you're Jokic.
the way Drummond plays.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
like Damian Lillard can miss the All Star game, get pissed, and then take over games, but you just can't do that when you're like a paint center.
Yeah.
Like just putting up like 20 and 20 or something like that,
Which is still crazy, but you're not winning.
But it's not gonna. Holy shit! Mark Cuban's at the IU game. What the fuck?
Well, he used to live here.
No, I know he went to IU. I guess Bob Knight's back, but geez Louise. Okay, sorry. I'm watching the IU game a little bit out of the corner of my eye, and I just saw him.
Fun fact: Mark Cuban owned a bar here, and then it got shut down because he
Yeah, because an
like-
underage girl was in a wet T-shirt contest.
yeah.
So, or no, she won.
Yeah. So he had to shut down.
Yeah,
the
he was
bar.
like, oh jeez. Shout out Mark.
Shout out Mark Cuban.
So I don't know. This seems like a very Pistons move because they're one of the most incompetent franchises, like low key in the league.
Yeah. But they have like a few playoff appearances here and there.
Yeah,
So
I mean they've won a championship as recently as like 2004, so which is more than like I think it's like 60% of the NBA can say because like the only ones that have won since then are like the Spurs, Lakers, Celtics,
Heat,
Mavs,
Warriors,
Warriors, and Cavs.
and Cavs.
So like that's like 7 out of 30 teams.
Yeah.
I guess 29 other teams.
But moving on.
I guess that's fine because maybe they'll just go full tank mode. They're not gonna do anything. Trade Blake Griffin though.
He
Do Blake.
had like a broken leg.
I know he does, but do Blake Griffin a favor and just get him out of there. Like
The problem
just-
is no one wants that contract, especially with what's going on with his leg now. You don't know how he's gonna be.
yeah,
And
that's true.
You don't want what's he like? He's in his 30s.
He's 30. I think he's 30. Or 30.
Oh,
Maybe he's 31.
I think he's 31.
But he's on the wrong side of 30.
Yeah, and he's making like $35 million.
Yeah, a lot of 30s in that sense.
Yeah. Next trade. This is another small one. Philadelphia trades James Ennis to the Magic for a second-round pick.
That's like
James Ennis can help them.
just
Magic.
building up a draft pick. Maybe it helps the Magic with their playoff push. What's their seed? Are they like 8 or 9?
No, they're pretty low.
I feel like they've been hovering around like 8
Let me
to
check.
like 11 all
They-
year.
They are. Oh, they're the 8th seed. Never mind.
Yeah, I thought that they had kind of
I
gotten back
forgot.
up
You can
there.
be 22-30 and be the 8th seed in the East.
Yeah,
Because it's crazy. Like the 6th seed is Indiana. That's 31-21.
and then it's like a
And then
crazy
the
drop.
7th seed is 23-27.
Who's the 7th seed?
Nets.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
They also have an excuse of not having Kyrie for most of the season. But,
Yeah.
And
then next trade. This is the one you were talking about. The Clippers, Knicks, and Wizards do a 3-team trade. Marcus Morris and Isaiah Thomas went to the Clippers, who then dropped Isaiah Thomas, unfortunately. We'll get onto that once I'm done with this. Yeah. Jerome Robinson went to the Wizards, and then Mo Harkless and a 2020 first-round pick went to the Knicks. So the Knicks...
Isn't Mo Harkless a power forward? Or a small
I
forward?
think he might be a small forward.
Holy shit,
But
how many fucking forwards do you need on your roster,
Here's also my
Knicks?
problem. Marcus Morris, while his stats are inflated, he put up like 20 points per game. He shot like 45% from the 3-point line on 7 attempts a game. And the best you can get from him is Mo Harkless and a...
That's basically all but confirming that the Clippers, even if they're the 2 seed, they're probably the favorite to win the championship because they're fucking so deep. Like that adds. They have 2 6 Man of the Year candidates, and they just added Marcus Morris to that roster.
I do wish they didn't drop IT though, because I do.
Yeah, that makes me sad.
I want to see him succeed.
Yeah, but I guess it's better because maybe they're not going to do anything with him, and they're like maybe he can get.
At least he'll be on a roster.
I don't know. It's just such a fucking, like, we say this so much. It's a fucking Knicks move.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
Nah, I don't know.
I don't get it. Like, you're basically taking on, like, what, the 29th or 30th overall pick? Yeah. Like, a low first-round pick and Mo Harkless for your guy who's, like, by far your best player. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
It makes me... Like, if I was a Knicks fan, which I guess they're probably numb to it by now, I'd just be like, where the fuck are we going at this point? Like, where are we going? What is our plan? Like, it just seems like they're, like, they fire their GM, who, you know, is part of the problem, but...
James Dolan's the real problem.
James Dolan's the real problem. Everybody knows that. But, like, they continually trip over themselves and fuck themselves over. If they don't get the #1 pick this year, relegate them to the D-League. Bring up the Maine Red Hawks over the New York Knicks. I don't give a fuck. I mean, Christ, they'd probably lose in the D-League too. They'd figure it out. They'd be like, we're gonna trade R.J. Barrett for we're gonna trade R.J. Barrett and just every semblance of a good player we have for like a 2nd-round pick. Duh. Like, fuck off, Knicks. God,
that was very loud.
Like, they're an enormous market.
Yeah.
If
they're bigger, I saw this. The Knicks market is worth more than Chicago and Los Angeles combined, or something like that.
And they're just so fucking bad. Holy shit! If they had like the Pacers management and the Pacers owners, they would be routinely a top probably 3 playoff seed. Yeah. Like they're a good owner away. They have it. You have it so because I'm a small market fan, so I'm pretty passionate about this. You have it so easy when you're a big market. You know how long it took? Like, Los Angeles has won 10 championships in the modern era. Yeah. Pretty fucking easily. Like, all it took, like, you can just get anybody you want all the time. And
Not
the Knicks, but the Knicks just they fuck it up every single time. I don't know how it's possible. They just fuck it up every single fucking time. I'm so tired of seeing it. I'm so tired of seeing an enormous market just trip over themselves every single fucking time. And seeing a team with a devoted fan base like Indiana or like New Orleans or Orlando, who's a smaller market.
The Knicks fans are nothing if not committed. You guys got to see his face. He's like having an existential crisis right now.
You see small market teams, and Giannis is probably going to leave the Bucks eventually. You see small market teams just try their best and get so fucked over, and then the New York Knicks come out here and they trade away Marcus Morris for basically a 2nd-round pick and no fucking Harkless. What is wrong with you?
It's a 1st-round pick.
It's... I can't talk about the Knicks anymore.
Would you like to move on?
Let's move on.
Okay. That I think is the end of the trading part. Now on to some of the other
So
smaller stuff.
we got the buyout market opened up.
J.R. Smith has a tryout with the Lakers.
J.R. Smith should not ever be on another NBA team again. I mean, all he's gonna do is like I'm projecting Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals. Game 7. Maybe there's a Clippers logo on the floor. Maybe there's a Lakers logo on the floor. I don't care. 96-94. 10 seconds left. All the Lakers need is a bucket to put it away. J.R. Smith is on the floor, top of the key. He gets the inbounds, and he just immediately throws the ball in the air like he thinks they won. Kawhi Leonard steals the ball, goes over, just dunks the shit out of it. 4 seconds left now. We got 4 seconds.
Okay, yeah.
Lakers on the inbounds. I don't know. Maybe will DeMarcus Cousins be healthy by then?
Doubt
Who
it.
gives a fuck? Their center goes to inbounds it. LeBron's covered. Anthony Davis is covered. Rondo's covered. Who's the only guy that can get the ball? J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith.
I don't think he'll be on the court.
J.R. Smith calls for the ball. He gets it. He turns around, taps it with his ass, goes right into Paul George's waiting arms. Paul George, smooth as, I don't know, silk, finger roll, 98-96. Clippers move on to the finals. That is going to happen.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, if they play in the conference finals, every game's a home game for the Lakers. So
Yeah, that's true. But
it won't
that's
matter.
besides the point, is J.R. Smith is going to figure out a way to fuck it up, because that's what he always does routinely.
Yeah.
He won one NBA championship and acted like he was even a top 3 player on that team.
Yeah.
Or even top 5. Like, fuck. Matthew Dellavedova did more than him in that series. So next, let's go to the actual buyout market, because we got a couple big ones.
All right, let me...
First of all, Marvin Williams has been bought out by the Charlotte Hornets. And so Marvin Williams is one of those guys that you look at. He was like the 2nd overall pick in his draft.
Mhm.
Probably shouldn't have been the 2nd overall pick. However, he's made a productive NBA career for himself, kind of like Evan Turner. Like, Evan Turner was the 2nd overall pick. There are probably a lot of guys that you would, from that draft, that you would take over Evan Turner, but he's still, like, not... I don't know if you could say he's a bust, because he's, like...
He's solid.
He's fine.
Yeah.
He's like an average role player.
He's going to be a good 3-point shooter for the Bucks.
So the Bucks picked Marvin Williams up after he was bought out by the Hornets. This is a good move. I was kind of hoping the Pacers would pick him up, because the Pacers are like a wing away from being a good team.
We have plenty of wings.
They have a lot of wings, but we need like another really solid 3-point wing. And I was like, and I was kind of...
We have Dougie, who's
We do have
slowed
Dougie.
down a little bit, but he's still solid. Justin
Um,
Holiday.
But I was thinking that
TJ.
Marvin Williams would be like
I think any
a good
contending
piece.
team
I
wants
think he's
Marvin
kind of like a
Williams-
Wes Matthews sort of guy.
Marvin Williams is just a slightly worse version of Robert Covington because he doesn't have as good defense or
Yeah.
shooting. But,
But he's like technically a 3-and-D guy, kind
Yeah.
of. I don't. But that could be completely wrong, because I don't ever watch the Hornets. So, for all we know, he could be just, I don't know, a driver. I don't really care about this. All I know is that I know who Marvin Williams is, and I know he's fine. And I know that the-
Collison's looking to make his return too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I guess he just got bored of hanging out at church all day. Like, I don't know. That's why he said he retired, is he wanted to spend more time in his religion and with his family. And he's like 6 months in, he's like, actually, I just wanted to get off the Pacers, which I can respect a little bit.
Reggie Jackson's considering a potential buyout also.
He's with the Knicks, right?
Reggie Jackson's with the Pistons.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That's Reggie Bullock, with the Knicks. So this is who's a team that might need a guy like Reggie Jackson, as they say in the business.
Lakers.
Yeah, Lakers could use another solid guard.
Yeah.
And then
Or
there
the
was
Bucks maybe because he's like a decent
Yeah.
scorer.
honestly the Bucks I think the Bucks route to a championship. They're probably at least a finals team at this point right now. Like they're definitely the favorite for the Eastern Conference, but they could
the
probably
Rockets could use him too.
they could maybe take a couple more role players. You know,
I mean, their team's fine at this point. It's just add more.
yeah, add a little bit more bench depth. You know, and then I also saw that Michael Kidd Gilchrist
Yep.
is
Isn't he the guy
about to be
who has
bought.
a really
He
broken
has the
jump shot?
crazy weird jump shot.
Yeah.
He was the second overall pick in 2012. Not many people know that. I would probably consider him a bust because he's just bad. Like he's never really improved his game over the years. He went to Kentucky. He was part of that draft class. He was on the 2012 championship team.
Mhm.
He was pretty good in college, not great in the NBA. But and I think it said that the Mavericks will look to sign him. So a team that could maybe use a couple other guys off the bench. I know he's like what 6'7". So
he's hefty.
yeah, maybe another bigger guy since Powell went out. Maybe they're just looking for like bigger guys.
Yeah.
Do we have any other buyouts?
That is all that I know for now.
Okay.
It's still the Bucks waive Dragon Bender for more.
Oh yeah, so Dragon Bender sucks. He's so bad. He was a 4th overall pick in 2015, and he's already basically out of the league.
Marquise Chris made his way back into the league though.
Yeah, he did, and he's actually. I think they're looking to sign him to an extension
They
too.
signed him to a 2-year deal. The Warriors did.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Shout out Marquise Chris.
But yeah, Dragon Bender sucks.
But Dragon Bender sucks. Is there a team that could maybe use him? Because I know he was kind of playing like a stretch role for the
I'm sure
Bucks. when he was
China
on
could
the-
use him.
What?
I'm sure China could use him somewhere.
Did you see that China canceled their season because of the
Yeah, well,
coronavirus?
duh.
Well, yeah, but like isn't it only like in one region?
No, it's spread, dude. Almost. Like there haven't been too many casualties, but a lot of people have gotten infected that are like
Yeah.
at least known.
Yeah. So shout out China. Sorry.
Shout out.
So maybe there are a couple guys actually in China like that
Jeremy Lin.
teams could use.
Jeremy Lin, come back.
Jeremy Lin come back. Lance Stevenson, good
Come
riddance.
back. No, come back. Lance, make him dance, dude.
So
Pacers sign Lance Stevenson. He's
No,
only good on the
that is
Pacers.
the quickest
He's
way to
only-
continue.
He's only
their-
good on the Pacers.
Kevin Pritchard put it best when he said that sometimes Lance was the best player on our team and sometimes he was the best player for the other
Yeah, but that
team.
leaves it sometimes he can be the best player for your team. Then the other time, just don't put him in the game. Bring back Lance. He's a fan favorite.
No, thank you. I would like to win some basketball games.
You can win with Lance.
Can you though? Can you
The
really?
Pacers didn't go 0-82 with Lance, therefore you can win games with Lance.
So we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up
Hold
there.
on. One more thing I want to say. I thought this was kind of just a funny little thing. Romeo Langford said he forgot he could be traded, so he wasn't worried at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
So
So shout out Romeo Langford, IU guy.
but that's. I think
We're
that's
gonna go
all.
ahead and wrap it up
Yeah.
there. Get a solid
Long
hour two.
episode.
We're gonna go to the mall after this one.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get a Steam card. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up there.
A bit of a long episode because trade deadline. It'll
Pretty
slow.
good trade
It'll
deadline.
slow down soon.
Yeah.
So
So we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up there.
Yeah.
Thank you. Like, subscribe. Tell us why we're stupid and dumb and idiots. Okay. Love you guys. Bye.
all right, see ya.